It's such a hard question, because as beings with compassion, with hearts, with connection, I mean, we're wired for connection, literally, neurologically, biologically, to connect. And so when we see things in the world, naturally we have a judgment about them. And if the judgment is a judgment that it's not right, we obviously want to fix it. And it's not something that there's an equation for. And it's also not something that's static. There may be something that I don't have any impact over today, but I may have an impact over it tomorrow. And so it's also important not to try to label things or to put them into boxes and say, well, those are things I can't do anything about. This is something over which I have no control. This is the only area that I can. I mean, in general, in a broad way, the only thing we have any control over is ourselves. That's a really good rule of thumb. And if that which we want to fix is the behavior of people around us, let it go to begin with. Doesn't mean we accept it, doesn't mean that we love it, doesn't mean we condone it, doesn't mean that we choose to be near it. But what it means is that we don't bash our heads against the wall trying to change other people. And you can't. You can't. And if you can, the only thing that changes them is energetically. No one's ever been berated into change. No one's ever been guilt-tripped into change. Nobody's ever been manipulated into change. The best that we get through those tactics is we get behavior modification. So they may change their behavior. But if we're really honest with ourselves, it's not actually the behavior that bothers us so much as their motivation for the behavior. So take a simple example. It really bothers me that my child doesn't clean up his room. It really bothers me that my husband or wife or child or whomever doesn't help me clean the house or do the dishes. Okay? Now, both of those things are things that really bother me, let's say. I could get through constant harassing of my children, of my spouse, of my family members. I could get behavior modification. Whether it's because I yell at them, whether it's because I sulk, whether it's because I use whatever other form of tactics I may use to get it, I'll get behavior modification. But the truth really is that what bothers me so deeply is not actually the room or the dishes. What bothers me is its respect. When my child doesn't clean up his room, what that means to me is I get up every day, I go to work, I bring home money. Yeah, I'd much rather be sitting in a jacuzzi all day long than filing papers or doing whatever my job may be. But I do it to bring home money so that I can buy him the things that he wants. So that I can buy him nice things to wear, so that I can buy him books, so I can buy him toys, however old he may be. And when he pays no attention to the things I buy him, and they're strewn all over the floor of his room, it makes me feel like it's my love and the days of my life, the hours of my days, my energy, my time, that is strewn all over his room. That's not a sweater. That's 2 hours of mom's work. And so when that sweater is crumpled up under his bed, it's my love that's crumpled up under his bed, if I'm really honest with myself about it. And that's why it hurts so much. And so him rolling his eyes and scurrying to clean up his room before I see it because he knows mom's going to be angry. But sort of doing it in one of those ways, with his sister or with my husband or whoever it may be, of, better get the room cleaned up before, mom sees it. That's not any more respectful than taking off his sweater and throwing it under the bed. I've gotten behavior modification, but I haven't gotten what I really want, which is a show of respect. And this is why you can't change another person. You cannot beat respect out of someone. You cannot manipulate love out of someone. And again, we try, and we get behavior modification. If you only brought me, flowers every once in a while, I would feel loved. Well, eventually, the person I'm saying that to is going to get his secretary to put a note in his diary once a week that something beeps on his phone that says, buy flowers for the wife. But that's not what I want. I don't want him to remember because his secretary reminded him. I don't want flowers that the secretary has to call in. I could buy myself flowers. What I want is that he should be thinking about me. That it should come automatically. So my manipulation, my beating, my insulting, my complaining isn't really bringing about any of the change that I want. So this is why on that level we say, can't change anything but yourself. So with regard to all of our interpersonal relationships, you can say, whether they're family, whether they're friends, whether they're colleagues, whether they're neighbors, whether whoever it is, only change yourself. Never try to fix another person. But when it comes to things in the world, poverty, people on the street, kids without schooling, well, there are things we can do. Now, we can't fix it all. I can't give food to every child on earth single-handedly. Just not enough resources. But we do as much as we can. And it's really hard to know where to do it and where not. And all I can share with you is what Pujya Swamiji does and how he operates, which is basically that which falls in his lap is that which God wants him to take on. I mean, those of us who have been here for a long time, sometimes we smile at ourselves because the number of times that he says things like, okay, no more projects until we've got the ones that we've already taken, and then inevitably, there's a new project. Why is there a new project? Because God has thrown something into his lap. Somebody has shown up and has said, God, there's this thing in this school or this hospital or this, village or this river or whatever it may be. There it is. So no new projects until God sends me a new project. At which point, it's what I'm supposed to do, because if I wasn't supposed to do it, God wouldn't have dumped it in my lap. God would have sent it somewhere else. And so rather than going out and trying to figure out, okay, what needs to be done, what problem should we address, it's much more a matter of make yourself available as an instrument. It's like that beautiful prayer by St. Francis of Assisi about make me, O Lord, make me an instrument of your mercy. I can't recite it all. I don't remember, but it's beautiful. Where there is hatred, let me spread love. It's all that. But it's make me an instrument. Just use me. Wherever there is darkness, let me spread light in whatever way it may be. Whether it's light through education, whether it's light through putting money in the hands of someone, whether it's light through giving them toilets or clean water, whether it's light through planting trees, whether it's light through giving them hugs, through giving them a shoulder to cry on, whatever it may be. Oh God, let me be an instrument. And then just have faith that you're going to be used.